If this reading is for you, you are in a moment of pause right now. You're not actually looking to the future and to all of the things that you've been dreaming about because you've realized, intuited that you need to stop. Something still has you. There's an attachment around you and you're meditating on it with that conscious, constant state of awareness that allows the clarity to arise. And as you're in this meditative state, you're starting to really understand what it was that got you stuck in the first place. I'm seeing this particular Eight of Swords character looking down at the sword. I can sense that she is meditating on the sensation of the bonds, but I feel like her intention is looking at the sword because she understands that the sword is actually what cuts her free. And right beside that card, we got the Ace of Swords, and I see this as her / you, and this is not gendered, this is just me talking about this energy of this character that we're all embodying because we all contain masculine and feminine. So when I'm speaking about gender and I'm saying he and she, I'm talking about energies within us, or wherever I'm being more specific. But I'm seeing this as she's meditated on this sword to the point that she's been able to turn it upright and use it. And then we have the Justice card right beside this, and the balance. And it is this state that we're in right now, and you might be coming back to the High Priestess, which is either side. High Priestess and Justice are either side of this midpoint with the Eight of Swords and the Ace of Swords. And you might be coming in and out of the intuition and then coming into the balance and then having to go back into the intuition and feel through the body and then get the clarity and then come into the balance. And it's the mind and the body are just going through this repetitive cycle, which isn't a bad thing. It's like a washing machine has a set number of spins in order to get the garments clean. Like we're clearing something by going over it and over it and over it just enough times just to make sure that it's clear. And by the end of this, what we're going to be clear on is what we're being offered that we do not want. What we are being shown in the world around us is the opposite end of where we actually want to go. Now this is in reverse because at the moment we're not doing this, but that's because we have to finish this wash cycle. The outcome of this wash cycle and recognizing what we don't want is that we're focusing on what we do want. We're looking to the horizon with that intention, that imaginal cell activation to the world that we are stepping into. And beneath the Eight of Swords and the Ace of Swords, I got this current energy of the Emperor and the Hermit. And to me, the Emperor is speaking to the boundaries that we are holding around this hermitage space that we are in as we do this wash cycle. So this is like the masculine container around the feminine within, where we have the High Priestess and the Justice characters. And I asked, as I sat with this energy before I started, I asked, okay, so I feel like this is the right now moment. What is the outcome of this? And the Four of Wands came out. And I immediately thought of all of the energies of the Cancer full moon that we had recently that showed us what it is that is not in alignment with the frequency of home for us, what is not stable, and therefore showing us what we actually do want as a result. And paired with that, at the bottom of the deck, we had the Ace of Wands, which is the ability to manifest your own life. And I feel like that's absolutely what we are moving through as a collective right now. So, yeah. If you're moving through this energy right now, I feel like this cycle is just taking as long as it takes, and you've been getting really good 333 at surrendering to the process and trusting not to make any sudden moves and to maintain this container. You might have been experiencing external forces outside of your hermit mode container that are trying to get your attention at a point where you know you cannot leave until you finish the cycle. This is for everybody's good, not just for you. This is not selfishness. This is healing for the self, for the collective, because it is all one connected thing. But some people, well, many people, most people probably don't understand the dynamics of this and are still living their lives as they had been. So they might be finding it quite difficult to find that you're currently inaccessible, and you may be feeling those energies coming at you, making it harder while you're in there. But you have been doing this work of maintaining the protection and trusting that what you're doing is for the good of everyone involved. So, you know, keep continuing to come back to this world that we're building, the direction that we're going, the one where we trust that what we're doing when we're guided by our souls is for everybody's highest good, even when it goes against everything we've been programmed to do. And in fact, especially then, because that's the whole point of what we're doing right now, letting souls take over and show us what we've been doing that is not in alignment with our highest good or the highest good of all, and what is making us and the world at large sick, so that we can turn towards the causes with care and attention and compassion and shift those balances, which is the work that you undoubtedly have been doing if you are here for this reading right now. So first of all, congratulations and thank you. I'm really trying to remember where the camera is on this screen, and I've set the phone up in such a way I can't bloody see it. And there it is. Hello. I just got the urge to do this reading out of nowhere. I have been resting for a few weeks and have been trying a couple of times. I tried, as in forced, and didn't feel like I wanted to put the message out because I wasn't in the state to be in connection with anyone else yet. And because I waited and just focused on charging my energy and doing all the things I needed to do today when it arose, and I got intuited to set up a different space than I've ever had before to do it. I knew that I needed to, so yeah, you might be finding yourself reconnecting with your gifts in a new way after having taken some kind of a break, and in a way that just feels totally in alignment, where before there were imbalances that you were finding which were causing certain issues that just made you a bit unsure at times. And it's not that there was anything wrong with those experiences, they were all necessary to get to the point of when you pick the thing up and you just want to do it and it just feels clear. And that's when a channel is doing what a channel does, you know. And I don't just mean channeling like what I'm doing right now. I mean, I believe and experience all creation as channeling, bringing in that high priestess within the emperor energy. We create the container within which energy arises, the energy arises, and we work with that energy and make things and then put them out into the world, and then we receive energy back for that, and then that energy goes back through us into that void space, and then more comes out, and the cycle goes on. And if you know what I'm talking about, you'll know, and if you don't, that's gonna sound insane, but that's fine. I'm used to sounding insane, trust me. Story of my life. So what does this collective need to know, Spirit? Why am I doing this reading? Other than the confirmation so far, what is it? What is this Four of Cups? I find myself looking up. Oh, I'm being drawn to the Four of Cups. I haven't finished that. I'm seeing the Three Cups sat below is really catching my attention with the word for beneath. Oh, belief. Interesting. Interesting. This is about being handed beliefs that don't belong to us and people trying to give them back to us when we're like, I've already stopped drinking that. Please don't try to give me more. Also, it's not doing you any favors, but like, I'm not telling you what to do either. I'm just letting you know I'm not down for that anymore. But there is a sense of something is expected to be different, and it's this tension. Yeah, this tension we are balancing as my eyes land on the scales, that we are learning to hold, in fact, is the tension between what people are expecting us to do, what people want us to do, and what we're actually doing. And the better we get at that, the easier life becomes. And that's really what the justice is about. It's bringing balance to all opposing forces. I was trying to ask if this card, when it came up upside down, which the rest of the deck is right way up, so I don't know how it did it. I didn't see it flip. And I heard myself ask the question, do I do it upside down or reversed? I was like, okay, well, I think I'm answering my own question there. And it's the empathy card, so. We're learning to redefine what empathy really is. A lot of what we have been believing is empathy is something else that doesn't do what empathy does. And it is often being used as a method of control, in fact. Like, it becomes weaponized both. It can be, look, we can be weaponizing empathy towards other people, or we can be expecting empathy, like forcing other people to give us empathy, or what we think of as empathy, and attacking them if they don't do it. But on the one side of things, there's that end of the energy, and then on the other side, there's the, and absolutely we need empathy. And we have to find the balance of these distortions in everything. Nothing is about saying, oh, well, we were at this end, so now we're just going to go to the completely other end because that must be better because we deemed this one bad. it's not really how duality works, which is the other card that was on the bottom of this deck. I got very lost for a long time in feeling like I wanted to get from one end of a spectrum to another. Took being explained to me by a teacher in a very vulnerable and painful moment that the purpose of all the spiritual work, like the coherent thread in all spiritual practice, was balance, and understanding that a lot of what we were being conditioned with up until now was about, you know, this is what's good, this is what's bad, do the good stuff, don't do the bad stuff, be the good stuff, don't be the bad stuff. All that led to was people pouring shame onto parts of themselves that had every right to exist, and forcing them into the dark. And then from in there, they started to do things that were actually harmful. And then that was just used as justification, as proof for why it had been demonized in the first place. But we make monsters and then vilify them this way. And this is the kind of empathy that I am talking about, that people think being empathetic means holding sympathy for people going through bad things, but empathy means understanding why people do anything. That doesn't just mean the people having a bad time, it means the people doing the things that are causing the bad times. And I don't know if some of you have noticed yet, I'm sure some of you have, but we're not getting out of this when we're still in duality. So as long as we're still judging anybody as a bad guy, that's something that is in us that we still haven't recognized. It is a monstrous nature. We have probably deemed it as a monstrous nature, but it is an animal nature that has become distorted. And the animal kingdom is alive and well in this reading right now, because I invited them in first, in fact, through a plant, which was interesting. But it's the animals that really need to speak. The way we treat nature shows us how we feel about ourselves, not just the earth herself, but the animals, the creatures, the insects, everything, all forms of life. And we were turning into one big melting pot of experience, and that's kind of challenging for those of us who were seeing ourselves as separate, which is humans. And it's the animal kingdom that are trying to teach us. We've been trying to repress our animal nature for the last few hundred years in the West, particularly. And our animal nature is what is going to save us, but it has to be demonstrified first, devilified, embraced, understood, brought back home. And as we do that, we have to realize, okay, so all of the structures of society that we have right now that are based on controlling this, controlling our animal natures, all of the structures of society right now are based on that not existing, in fact. Well, it's more like it's based on controlling that and suppressing that everywhere. And it is the wildness within us, our indigenous nature on Earth, that is going to save us, is saving us, in fact. I don't even like the term saving, to be honest. It's reconnecting us. And the thing is, yeah, I don't like the word saving at all, actually, because that implies that like there's just going to be a happy ending, and that's not what this is. Like, we're not talking about trying to save the world once and have a big party and then just be like, yay, and then it was perfect after that. Imagine trying to film a movie that had that storyline. Like, the scale of effort that would take. I don't know why I went down that thread. I like seeing things through the lens of movies. Maybe that's relevant, actually, because I have been seeing a lot through movies lately. And I just got a flash of Cinderella, which has been coming up big time. Yeah, it's like we're all releasing ourselves from the role of skivvies within this false system of animal control and wildering. I don't know if that's a word, but it's what came through. Wildering ourselves. Wildening. Rewilding. But like, the wildness was never gone. We're just accepting it. And recognizing it. And appreciating it. And as we do that, it changes. This is the kind of harmony we're reaching for here on Earth. I'm being drawn to the clear quartz crystal. It's amplifying the selenite, which is the angelic frequencies, and it's pointing at the wands. So I'm going to lift the deck. 4 of Swords, 2 of Swords, and 5 of Pentacles. I'm getting rest in the knowing that it's all going to be over soon. The part where, I didn't realize there were other cards under there. The part where we are out in the cold, where we're not connected, where there are structures like, I mean, this card is a character in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith. It is two characters, but they're outside a church, and the church is not helping them. Like these are the old structures that aren't helping us, that are not going to be here very soon. And by very soon, I mean like anytime in the next 50 years, but I'd say potentially quite a bit sooner. And it's not going to be they come down all at once. Like countries are splitting apart. People are becoming independent of state organization and violation. And lots of different things are going to change on the face of the earth. But the forces that are intent on creating as much destruction as possible are the ones that are responsible for the destruction that is coming, because they went in the opposite direction when the call came very clearly that this isn't sustainable. So they're running headfirst into a brick wall. We're not doing anything. We're actually turning and going in the opposite direction and saying, do what you gotta do, fam. But we're going over here with our multiplied magnetic creative energy. We're gonna build this new earth. And these old structures that are still trying to cling on to the old ways as they crumble, clarity is going to continue to arise. We're going to continue to see this mass awakening of people recognizing these systems don't and never did serve us, or not most of us. In fact, I honestly don't feel like they actually serve any human beings, but there are those who are locked into it at a point, and I mean like pointy end, the tip of the pyramid, who actually think they're going to get somewhere that's going to make it all worthwhile. And they never will, because there is nowhere that makes this kind of destruction all worthwhile. But that's their karma to learn. So, and I don't mean karma like punishment, I mean literally karma as the multiple perspectives on an experience that give you the awakening, the higher perspective where you can see all sides, and therefore you're not caught in a polarity of thinking this is good or bad. You can see the whole thing and choose whether or not it's for you. But a lot of these people are having some very end of the road kind of karmic lessons right now, because this stuff is dark. So, tarot, interesting. What do we want to know? The Four of Swords. Yeah, it's this rest energy. You might be having a lot going on in your dreams as well. You might be having a lot of restructuring of your ego identity through experiences where you're presented with paradigms that you have been familiar with in your life. And you choose differently, you act differently, and you feel it the next day that that's integrated. You might be having a lot of that going on. Tell me about this first. Wow! Tell me about this Four of Swords, please. Thank you. I was talking about the four before. 4x4. Ooh. Half pipe. Building a half pipe. Some of you might be building a half pipe. If you are, please call me once it's ready. Three of Swords. Interesting. There's the Hierophant. Getting the Three of Swords on top of this Four of Swords, where there are the other three, because the fourth sword is under the bed. And I just feel like you're resting and separating these swords out, meditating on them, actually getting an understanding of what they are in a way that is allowing you to do what I was talking about up here. You're meditating on the swords themselves, and you're able to turn them into weapons of justice. And I don't mean violence. I'm talking about the sword as the one clear mind against the sky, the true clarity, this level of wisdom and intuition, what the hermit work is allowing for you to do. What I was just talking about, karma being the seeing from all perspectives, where you then unlock out of it. But there might be a lot of particularly heartbreak around authority. People in positions of power that we were told to trust, taught to trust, forced to trust, even when we didn't. We were forced to work as if we did in life. And there is a lot of stars falling right now. Oh, this is going to be so fucking painful for the people who are waking up to the authority figures that they really did think were going to save them. And this, I feel, is the collective experience going on around us. There's going to be a lot of this. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of awakening of people realizing this set of institutions never did anything for them, but they've been buying into it and supporting them all along anyway, to their own detriment. And that's going to be a painful one to wake up to. What's the outcome of this Three Swords Hierophant energy? The two keys. Power to loose, power to bind. The Wheel of Fortune. Page of Wands. So the thing that people, often when readers look at the Wheel of Fortune, they'll talk about it being about karma or luck, and assuming it means positive fortune, but what this is talking about is the Wheel of Samsara, which is, I'm not sure it's actually the Wheel of Samsara, but it is the Wheel of, I think it is, because it's the Wheel of Karma, which is always spinning. And when we get to the enlightenment point, we become the center point, as well as all of these other points. This is what I mean. We have all the different experiences and all the different perspectives of being at the top, being on the way down, being on the way back up again, being at the absolute bottom. And the Wheel of Karma is always turning. So anybody who has been at the bottom for a long time is about to rise. Anybody who's been at the top for a long time is about to start coming down. And this is exactly what we're going to see. So couldn't really have been better depicted by a card. Not gonna lie. Now, Page of Wands at the bottom of the deck, and I just had the Two of Wands as well, and this is making me think of that card. Yeah, like the Three of Wands being the first card in this spread. Like I was saying, we're not looking to the future while we're finishing this cycle, but we're just taking our eye off it for the moment. We've been planning. We're just having a moment of, okay, so now that all of that is on its way, let me go back and just clear out the last of the stuff that would get in the way or would cause distortion or destruction in any way, shape or form that I have not yet reckoned with. And yeah, there's a lot of this energy I'm now realizing isn't just going to be talking about the authority of political figures or institutions. It's anyone and anything that we set as an authority outside of ourselves. And culturally, we are conditioned to do this from the earliest ages. So our psyches are structured this way. And this external authority that is programmed into our egos has to come down, because that takes us out of alignment with our true wild animal selves. And our wild animal selves are necessary to balance as part of this new earth. Our wild animal selves are meeting our spiritual, soulful selves in the midpoint where we are at the center of creation. And as we're doing this and finding the harmony between us and the land, not even between us, like we're remembering we are the land. Literally, where did all the cells in your body come from? The earth. Every molecule in you came from this earth. And they will go back there once you're gone. Like I say, most of modern culture is built on separating us from this, which is why so many cultures practice death rituals where the body is not returned. It is preserved and attempted to be kept separate. I, for one, would like to be buried in a tree pot, thank you. Let the tree make use of my limbs and whatever else. It is a service that exists. I learned about it a while ago. 114, 13, 14. Ooh. 13, 14. We're getting some significant heartbreak around the age of 13, 14, and the enforced divide of gender at a stage where we were learning boys did some stuff, girls did other stuff, and ne'er the twain shall meet in certain scenarios. And even when we weren't in agreement with that, we were still being conditioned by that. We still have these authority figures within us that tell us we're doing something wrong when we step outside of these roles. And I mean within us, our own ego programs. And an ambulance is just rocking up on my street. And it's a cul-de-sac and I know everybody, so I'll see where it goes. It's not flashing lights, so I don't think it's emergent, but I think it's Actually, I'm going to have to go check on that. I'll be right back. So it's transport for my neighbour, which is relatively par for the course. There's that page of swords twice. 6 of pentacles. King of wands and 10 of wands. Oh no, 10 of wands reversed, king of wands. Is there any reason not to believe in yourself at this point? Have you not yet proven to yourself to be an infinite badass with capabilities beyond belief? Like, these are the limiting beliefs, but you are imagining beyond them. This is what I'm talking about. We're making this new earth thing here, and we have to let go of all the authority figures that exist in our own psyche that limit us and tell us what we cannot do, what we're not capable of. Because this is a universe of infinite abundance, and we can do absolutely anything. We're creating it. So anything that is telling you that it's not, you're not, that that's not the case, is not telling you the truth. So, yeah. Oh, it's actually many people coming home. I'm gonna have to go find out where it was. See, this is what I'm talking about though. This putting down the obligation, the idea that we have to do certain things, that we're bad people if we don't, because I have been operating out of that when it comes to connecting with other people in ways where I feel like they're struggling and they need support, in ways that were self-abandoning because I was struggling and I needed support, and I wasn't asking for that. I was just showing up for other people and becoming even more burnt out and bitter. But it was because I was recognizing the capacity of other people to provide, and also my capacity to receive, even the capacity of other people to understand what my needs were, because they are complex. I have multiple conditions and a really unique diet and a lifestyle, and getting people to understand that, like, people would have to choose to sign up for a year-long course to get to know me, to be honest. But this sense of caring, you know, being connected, sending energetic support when we can do it in the physical, but when we can do it in the physical and it feels like it's coming from that true place, that balanced place, not that, oh God, I feel bad, I feel like I'm not doing enough, I feel bad for them, which is the imbalanced energy that leads to the savior complex, which is, it is actually an attachment. It's an attachment to being the person who fixes, instead of letting go and just allowing yourself to be whatever the universe is calling you to be. Walk your truth. Whatever it is that you came here to be is what the universe needs from you. And that's going to be hard to see if, when you look around and see the need of the world around you, you just feel that I have to help. I have to. I'm right there with you. That one is so deeply ingrained, but I know, I absolutely know, I came here to do things that aren't normal, that aren't usual, that are outside of this false matrix reality that we've been living in on purpose. And I have to do those things because that's what I signed up to do. I have been a carer to people. I have been the friend. I have been the lover. I have been the family member. I have been the whoever in your life that you need when you need support. I've been that person. I spent about 35 straight years doing that, and then I spent about 5 years recovering from the damage that it did to me, to not be receiving in return for that equally. Not blaming anybody else for that. I wasn't capable of receiving. I didn't even recognize that I had needs. There was a lot of stuff that had been hidden because I had an undiagnosed neurodivergent condition and multiple undiagnosed chronic illnesses, and I was masking, high functioning masking, and I got away with it multiple times. I crashed out multiple times too, and the last one being the one that killed me meant that I had to really stop and look at it at that point. It's a bit hard to come back from death and be like, no, I think I'll keep going the same way. It was exactly what I was told, was that if you keep going this way, you will be out. And it wasn't a threat, it was they basically told me, if you don't want to go back, or if you don't want to stay, keep doing what you're doing, but it'll be a painful ending. And I didn't want that, so I decided to do something else instead. Now, we have Walk Your Truth and Patience, 9 of Pentacles, and then there's the 4 of Pentacles and Chairde. Yeah, so this being ourselves takes time to get used to for us and for the people around us. I'm gonna sneeze. And this renewal of our home of Earth, from living in this paradigm of duality to living in this paradigm of abundance, it's going to take time. It's going to take consistent effort. But the consistent effort is not just doing; it's also receiving, resting, all of the things we were talking about. So I'm going to clear this energy. Flip the decks. See who's speaking now. Tea leaves. Bridge. Successfully overcoming a problem and older woman, dealings or a relationship with an older woman. I'm actually feeling this is Gaia, Mother Earth. Successfully overcoming a problem very much feels like this, the bridge between dimensions, the dimension shift that we are making. Like Mother Earth is making this shift. Whether any individual unit of life on Earth is going with her or not is down to each individual soul fragment living within that unit of life. And it's not something that we can control. Releasing that illusion is a big part of the process, because that will get you stuck trying to save people when you actually have things you need to do that Mother Earth is calling you to do. And in fact, a big part of the reorganization of 2026 is going to involve being relocated for most people, unless you've relocated recently or you know for sure where you are is the right place to be. You may need to leave short term and come back to certain places, because there are going to be serious events in places that can't be stopped. That's what I'm talking about, accepting. But trusting that being aligned to Mother Earth means she'll guide you. I don't know if you've ever seen any documentaries about like earthquakes or other natural disasters, and there are always people in the interviews, like when they do a full documentary and interview loads of people, they'll say some people had this feeling that day that they just shouldn't be there, and they went to somewhere 7 miles away instead, and their decision to do that saved their life and a bunch of other people. That kind of intuition, that's what I'm talking about. We need that level of interconnection with Mother Earth to hear her, understand what she's guiding us, each of us, to do for our journey from one side to the other, from the old Earth to the new one. And each soul has to take that journey solo. I don't mean there won't be other people with you, but I mean you have to be the one making that journey. You might find other people are walking the same path at the same time consistently, in which case you're soul fan and wonderful. But if you partner yourself up with someone or anyone or anything and say, this has to come with me no matter what, we're sticking together, you're going to pull them or you out of your alignment at some point, because that energy in itself will pull you out of alignment. That kind of attachment, that's the Four of Pentacles energy that we're talking about. You can't grab anything. This is full surrender. Let go, let go, let go. I'm getting in a place close to home. There was a flame. Do not get too close. In the back of this card is a butterfly. Each card is unique. 2 butterflies, in fact. Yeah, this is the fire horse kind of energy. This super flamey. And Saturn and Neptune in Aries. This year is going to be a very fiery year. And the do not get too close part is what I'm talking about. Like, recognizing you can't save people from the 3D, you've got to do your 5D roll. Your 5D roll is like, oh, that's why we're getting the butterfly. So I learned recently that the way that the cocoon phase of the butterfly life works, Obviously, like most people know by now, they the cells dissolve into goo and then form the caterpillar, or form the butterfly. But what's actually happening is that there are cells called imaginal cells that live within the caterpillar. And when it goes into the goo state, those imaginal cells activate and start vibrating at the frequency of the butterfly. They start putting out a broadcast frequency, like a vibration of butterfly. We're butterfly now, we're butterfly. And all the other imaginal cells vibrating at the same frequency connect and increase the strength. And as they do that, they hold this imaginal net of being a butterfly, and all the other cells respond. They either attack the imaginal cells because they are immune cells for the caterpillar, or they die off. And I'm not actually sure if any of them switch function. Some of them must, or their materials are broken down and the cells that are needed are created. But it is part of the process of the evolution of the butterfly that this happened. It's not bad. Like, death is part of the process. The death of the caterpillar is the birth of the butterfly. And it's all happens within one cocoon. Like, it's kind of a cool metaphor for what we're talking about here. Like, each of us is going through this process. Earth is going through this process. Culture is going through this process. And it is not the job of the imaginal cells to try to convince any of the other cells not to do what they're doing. It is the job of the imaginal cells to keep believing that butterfly is what we're doing now. So we are the imaginal cells of the new Earth, and we are imagining the new Earth, no matter what the other cells are doing. All right, this deck. In a place close to home, there was a retreat. Don't forget to mingle. And there's something that looks like a circus tent. There's a gramophone, heart-shaped doorways, a bicycle, a moon. There's a card. The artwork. These cards are incredible. The deck is called In a Place Close to Home. And it's really fun to shuffle because if it's right in your hand. Yeah, like, we are actually meeting our soul family. I feel like that's happening a lot in the dream space and has been for a long time, but I feel like we're at this point of 2026 going to be actually meeting in person a lot, and we need to choose to go to places that feel like a retreat for us, that feel like a safe place, because that's where we're going to find our people, our vibe, our tribe, so to speak. So, yeah. Feel like that's the message. So, haven't done one in a while, really don't know how that looked. Had to cut a couple of times in the middle, and yeah, we will see. I'm just wondering about what's going on with my neighbours, so I'm getting distracted. No, I need a closing card. Oh, angels and ancestors. Closing card for this reading, please, Spirit. 133 1313. Interesting. Okay, so Lord, take charge with authority is this card. And I believe that is Cornelius. Gotta hunt the masculine, the ram behind. Holding a version of an anchor, I can't remember what that one's called. That's based on it. And then protection, guardian, drop your shields. What I was getting from this is that this is the part where we are now embodying our boundaries. So we don't need weapons, we don't need armor. Our actual energy, choosing where we're going and doing what we're doing, is our authority over ourselves and nothing else. And because of that, no one can control or do anything to us that we are not consenting to, because we're creating the new earth where we don't have that experience. I am getting shared experiences with people who are also doing this work. Our connection to each other is our protection, and I'm not saying there's not going to be challenges that, you know, difficult things are going to happen, but I'm talking about this, like 90% of the stuff that you've been dealing with, that you are dealing with, doesn't even touch you. I'm sure you know this, but it doesn't touch you anymore. And this is just going to increase as we take on these New Earth roles for ourselves, particularly this year. If you haven't already, or if you have been playing with it, toying with it, creating it, drafting it, this year is the year of launching it and committing to it. So be prepared to take charge with authority in your own life. One more. Whoa. Even though I have to bend over. I'm tired. Drum, dream, and journey. A lot of alchemical symbols in this card, and I don't know what any of them mean. Antler, the moon, that one. The sun, antlers. There might be runes as well. I really don't know. But yeah, I actually feel this sense of the gift of shamanic journeying that I have, like I've been taught how to do it. Last night when I thought about it, I was like, God, it's incredible that I can do that. I really need to go and do that because it's so helpful. Like this, taking charge with authority in the world around us means having stopped and surrendered everything and taking in that feminine intuition first, and then we're taking action from alignment with that guidance. So the practice of stopping to dream and journey, or consider what's coming through in your dreams as part of your informative practice. Very, intuition. Very potent right now, particularly. So if you feel the call, but overall, I'm getting this energy of success and happiness. And for all I've said about all the scary stuff potentially that is arising, it's only scary if we're not trusting. And when we focus on some energy, I was going to say positivity, but I'm afraid to say that. Success and happiness, focusing on those states. And I'm not saying to avoid the negative things that come up when they come up. You know, you've been doing that work. I'm not telling people who just got started to ignore their negative feelings. I'm telling people who've been doing this for years. Focusing on the frequency of where we're headed at this point is really potent, because we've learned all we can. This last couple of cycles in the washing machine that you're having right now are clearing out the whatever gunk is left. And after that, it's going to be a fresh, clean, sparkling new machine ready to head off into this new reality that we're building. So yeah. Be the bridge over troubled water, I'm getting. Which many of you may be. Like your New Earth role may well be providing care specifically to people as they transition through whatever life is throwing at them at this point in any arena of life. But if you, like me, have had a role similar to that in some ways in your life that was based on self-sacrifice, you probably had to stop for a bunch of years and learn how to stop doing that so that you could do it in a sustainable way that is in alignment with where we're going. Because the New Earth isn't built on models of scarcity and lack. Healers are not out in the world helping people hold space for people to heal within. Like, we don't heal them, we hold space and they do the healing. But people aren't doing that while not caring for themselves or not meeting their own needs or asking for their needs to be met. They're not, like, the New Earth doesn't look like that. It's not the old shit. Like, we have to throw all that crap out with the old way. Everything from the New Earth is about embodiment of balance, where everyone is getting their needs met and then some. And if that's something that's hard to believe in, practice. Like, just imagine. Don't believe it and say, I'm imagining this and therefore it's real. Just try imagining it. What would it be like? Like, imagining is actually how it happens. It becomes belief when you imagine it enough times. Especially as imagining it is what shows us what would be needed to make it possible, or what it looks like, what we're interested in, and then the universe responds by saying, well, you kept paying attention to that, so that's where we're taking you next, which is what that Three of Wands I was talking about is referring to, like what we have been envisioning and continuing to keep that in focus. So yeah. said one last card at some point. The energy's still going, it's still going. I was told this reading would be an hour, or I had to leave an hour. I don't know how long it's been because of cutting the videos, but I'll go until I'm told to stop. Well, there's when the storm spirits play, which is reading to me as the same message. Don't get too close to the fire. Like, this stuff is going to be going on, but we need to maintain that higher focus, that eagle eye perspective, where we get the clarity, the insight, that lightning of what we're meant to do. And that's why our regular practices of meditating, asking what we need to be doing, asking ourselves what we need to be doing, asking for our own higher self guidance, very important. Also, time to feed the hungry heart, which is nourishing our own soul through the heart. Like, what is our heart asking for? What does it need? What love, what connection, what creativity, what time in nature, what, you know, ask the heart what it needs. What is it hungry for? And if you hear a Sasquatch sigh, which spiritual narcolepsy, I think is what it means, but I forget this card sometimes, which probably means it's a lesson I need. Spiritual narcolepsy, seeing through the lens of separation, competition, arrogance, ego, and narrow-mindedness. So yeah. Okay, so you can either feed this guy or this guy, the ego or the heart. People live in this way, you can get involved with them, or people live in this way, you can get involved with them. But this is advising you to stay away from this and go in this direction. So you do you, but I'm just telling you what the card said. You feel me? So share one more. Mushroom Oracle, closing message. She laughed in the distance, I heard. The idea that I might just get one more card. We'll see. We'll see. Mushroom Spirit Oracle, what do you wish to say? Closing card for this message. Closing card for this message. That's because it was two cards on the bottom, which is my tag A, celebrate. There's that success, enjoy success and happiness energy again. Yeah, take every opportunity there is to celebrate. Focus on that energy, make sure it's being included. You shouldn't be trying to build a new earth without it. Regeneration and community, come the fuck on. Oh my god, yes. That is what I am talking about. 935 and 6. We are regenerating through community and the idea of what community means. And there are people who've been doing this work for a very long time, and to each and every one of them, I give my thanks. Particularly to the people who were the most oppressed and had to do the hardest work to bring this information into awareness, and are still being resisted in their doing of that while they deal with everything else. Shout out as well to the wisdom keepers, the medicine keepers, all of the people who've kept the connection of Mother Earth alive for those of us who forgot and had to be reminded. And this is speaking to me about regenerating the idea of community altogether. Like, this is beyond just the people in the neighborhood that you live in. It's your fucking neighborhood. It's your trees, plants, earth, grass, animals, insects, the land, the spirits, the other realms, the dimensions that exist where you are. It's the whole thing. Community work now must include, for the new earth, everyone. Absolutely everyone. That's the unity consciousness that we're talking about. But that is why we have to do the reorganization part, where we move, where we're being guided based on our frequency, because our imaginal selves are calling out to our other aligned frequencies. And we're going to be in groups. It's not like we're going to have one massive part of the earth that's just new earth people and then everywhere else is something else. Like, we're going to be in different groups and different places. I don't know what it's going to look like exactly, but it's not going to look like anything we've already seen. So throwing off all of the structures of the old for imagining the future is also really important. Get as abstract with it as you like. Let yourself play with concepts, with shapes, with sounds, textures, images, feelings, sensations, constructs. Build the world as if you were a child who's being held in a loving, safe space by a loving parental energy, balanced parental energy that is holding a safe space for it to do that and encouraging that it do that. And let it just dream. Dream journey. So, yeah. Let Mother Earth speak to you. This is the relationship with the older woman we're talking about. Like, we're bridging our own connection to Mother Earth as well as her bridging between 3D and 5D. And just back again to the celebrate. Do spend time doing this. Like, we have come so far. Please look back. 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, just at you, and then choose anybody else or anything else that you have seen grow or change since then. Look for 3 things. Spend some time in celebration of the fact that we have made it this far. Not only have we not given up, in the face of things getting the darkest they have gotten at this point, we are more sure than ever that's not the direction we're headed in. We're headed towards the light, the sun, the consciousness, the unity, the 5D, the living in harmony and peace and oneness, and the journey that it takes to get there, which is however long it takes. That's not up to us. We're just holding the frequency and letting ourselves be guided step by step. I already said wing beat by wing beat as I thought about the butterfly. So let yourself fly. And I want to say something about oysters. Grit and pearl. But yeah, this character is just like sat on top of an oyster shell, and it's like your wisdom is right inside. Everything you need is in you, it's right beneath you, and you don't even see it. And that's what we're talking about. This is the energy that people who don't yet know are living in. They're really not having a good time. You know what I mean? But when we are focusing on the heart and giving that, like, we can love the heart in anyone. That helps. Ow. We can love the heart in anyone. We don't need to feed their ego. And if people don't respond well to not having their ego fed, they will remove themselves from your environment anyway. So just let the universe and your frequency bring to you who it is that you get to be of service to as you are in service to your own highest good. Which I believe align. So yeah. Okay. Message finally done. Thank God, because I'm quite tired. But I did enjoy that. I don't feel like I want to post it, but I'm going to go back and edit it and we'll see what happens. So if you did make it this far, all the way to the end, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for doing everything that you're doing. I believe in us. I continue to believe in us every day. Stay wonderful, stay radical, and ta-ra for now.